February is miserable, except for those who reside in regions without winter. However, this particular February is exceptionally wretched. I was relaxing on my balcony sipping coffee while smoking, a practice I resumed when finances improved. I refrained from smoking around my children to prevent influencing them and safeguarding them from passive smoke exposure. This weekend, they're visiting their grandparents, providing me with some free time for contemplation. This February has been exceptionally dreary, with 2 weeks of no sunshine, overcast skies, frigid temperatures at 20 degrees, and several inches of snow. Everyone anticipated Valentine's Day as a respite. It arrived on a Thursday, causing many to take the following Friday off, effectively closing down the city. My wife Linda and I had plans, but we woke up to more snow and by afternoon were both sent home from work. The city shut down, so our planned night out turned into frozen pizza and staying indoors with the children. We danced with Emma and Timmy, aged 6 and 4, who looked forward to no school the following day. Once the children had fallen asleep, I expressed my apologies to Linda, offering her a glass of wine. She comforted me, stating it wasn't my fault and appreciating the excitement of the evening. A new evening gown from Linda remained hidden until we left home. She often sews her own outfits, including many for Emma, always looking stunning in whatever she wore. The diamond ring I had given her 10 years ago shimmered in the firelight. "Thank you for saying yes, Linda, I love you," I said. "I love you too," she replied. We toasted to us and sat in silence for a while. I then apologized for my recent crankiness, blaming it on February. Linda understood, acknowledging her own irritability. We joked about hibernating until spring, noting the kids seemed agitated as well. Despite our issues, Linda reminded me of our blessings, each other, our children, our home, and having a secure source of food. We reminisced about our initial date at Wendy's, a long-standing humor from our college days when I was financially strapped, yet Linda remained unbothered. "How do people endure periods like this without love?" I questioned. "Some don't," she answered, remembering the sad demise of her high school boyfriend on Valentine's Day years prior. Eager to maintain optimism, I took her hands and wished her a happy Valentine's Day, relocating our celebration to the bedroom. An anticipated 8 inches of snow turned into 2 feet, offering an unforeseen 3-day weekend. Everything was shut down, but most people still had power and snowmobiles for transportation. Our children delighted in having us home, playing in the snow, consuming pizza, and watching movies with no school. Linda and I also appreciated the respite, with no obligations to go out and an abundance of food to share with neighbors. Emma and Timmy went to sleep without protest, drained from the fun, leaving Linda and me some personal time. Nevertheless, the children only desired to watch Frozen over and over again. Linda declined revealing her new gown, jesting that I should take her out to view it instead. By Sunday night, plows cleared the path, and we readied ourselves for work and school. Before retiring, Emma and Timmy thanked us graciously for an exceptional weekend and showered us with affectionate hugs. Linda and I felt a profound bond as a result. The weekend receded into memory, leaving reality in its wake. Following putting the children to rest one evening, Linda received a call from her friend Dee. Delighted, Linda discussed Dee's idea of concluding February on a high note with an evening out. We would arrange for a babysitter, dine, dance, and stay at a hotel. I harbored reservations about the practicalities, but Linda assured me every detail was meticulously planned. We would dine at downtown Madison, then visit a nearby club, a carless endeavor, and our friends had arranged for babysitting. Pretending to hesitate, I knew Linda would persuade me. She mockingly hit me with a pillow until I agreed under one condition. She had to wear the dress she bought for Valentine's Day. Linda gracefully nodded. "As you desire, my dear. Your desires are my priorities." Her dress was a captivating shade of blue, accentuating her radiant eyes. It boasted long sleeves, a high collar, and a hem just above her knees, but it was anything but outdated. The bell-shaped skirt drew attention as she moved, making the fabric seem all the more seductive. Linda gracefully descended the stairs, leaving me awestruck. She gently brushed my jaw and whispered, "I'm still Linda, Jim." There's no need for flattery, though. I appreciate it. You have no idea how incredible you appear, I stammered, kissing her hands. Her eyes sparkled, and she trembled slightly. We joined our companions at a bustling restaurant, cherishing each other's presence and marking the end of February. Linda was radiant, and I expressed this frequently, caressing her whenever possible. The evening was memorable. Post-dinner, we ventured to the club. Neither of us consumed much alcohol, so I was relieved I didn't have to drive. Linda subtly suggested she wouldn't linger much, flirting with a smile. "Shall we not stay at the club for long?" she hinted softly. "The decision is yours, darling," I responded, chuckling. She clung to my arm. Despite the crowd, we had secured a spot. The gathering took notice of our company, particularly Linda. "You're garnering quite a bit of attention," I murmured. "You're undeniably the most alluring woman here." "Ah, you and your compliments," she playfully taunted. We danced not to impress, but for our mutual pleasure. When Dave proposed dancing with Linda, she refused, preferring our evening to be memorable. Pleased and contented, I murmured. "Is it time to depart already?" "Not just yet. We need our energy for what lies ahead," she responded, gripping my hand. Amidst a pause, we overheard boisterous laughter and spotted Mark Lavalier, the Sharks' quarterback. The table buzzed with enthusiasm about him, but Linda and I maintained eye contact exclusively. Dee quipped, "The two of you should rent a room." Linda and I shared a knowing glance. We hadn't spent many kisses, merely exchanged a few chicken wing bites, yet we had a reserved room for the evening. The band resumed playing, saving us from additional discomfort. I leaned towards Linda and asked, "Should we dance here or upstairs?" She didn't respond before Jane intervened. "Here he comes," she said as Lavalier headed our way. The women preened and flirted, cheering, "Pick me, pick me." Linda, however, lowered her gaze and held my hand tightly. "Hello, I'm Mark. Would you like to dance?" he asked Linda, extending his hand. She sighed, released my hand, and elegantly accepted. Without a glance at me, she began dancing with him. Dave taunted me. "I thought she was only dancing with you tonight." "Yes, I did too," I replied. "Calm down, Jim. It's just a dance," Jane soothed me, though I felt restless. All eyes were on them as they danced. Mark was more skilled than I, and Linda seemed to enjoy herself. Dee tried to divert my attention, but I declined. In the next slow tune, Linda softened into Mark's embrace. He murmured something that prompted a smile from her. Their dance was fitting, yet it still stung to observe. As another slow track filled the air, I observed the bandleader watch them intently. Pleased, Mark seemed, only fueling my resolve to put an end to this. Rising, I intended to leave, but Jane held me back. "Give her this moment. Don't ruin it for her." Resigned, I resumed my seat, stricken. The song concluded, and Mark guided Linda off the dance floor without any contact. Her smile towards him dimmed slightly upon our eye lock. I recognized we had an issue. "You're still the most attractive woman here," I whispered, taking her hand. "Perhaps it's time for us to move to our room for the next dance." Linda's eyes widened in alarm and her hand shook. She looked away promptly. "Everyone, I need to go to the restroom," Dee announced loudly. "Linda, will you join me?" she added. Apologetically, Linda looked at me before following Dee. "I apologize, Jim. I could benefit from a reminder as well." And then he departed with Dee. The dialogue transitioned towards why women wouldn't visit the restroom unaccompanied. As I contemplated this, Dee returned by herself. "Where is Linda? Is she all right?" I queried, close to shouting. "Calm down, Jim," Dee replied with a smile. "Linda is fine. She has some matters to attend to. There's no need for concern. She's an adult." Despite my lingering concerns, I accepted this explanation for about 5 minutes. When Linda didn't reappear, I grew restless. I made my way to the bar under a false pretense and approached a female bartender. "My wife has been in the bathroom for 15 minutes now and hasn't emerged. Could you verify she's okay? She has a tendency to react to spicy food. Her name is Linda. Here's a photograph," I stated, displaying my phone. The bartender prepared to investigate when Dee arrived. She's fine. There's no need for a check, Dee asserted, placing a $5 bill on the counter. The bartender cast a compassionate gaze upon me. What? I questioned, bewildered, after hearing that she had left the club with you. Dee clarified that Linda wasn't in the restroom. Instead, she departed from the club. A punch to the stomach was how it felt. Why? Where did she go? Is she all right? I sought answers, still puzzled. Let's discuss this privately, Dee suggested, leading me to a secluded corner of the bar. She looked straight at me. Jim, Linda adores you and your children above all else. However, tonight she's with Mark, she revealed, causing my world to shatter. Memories of Linda in her blue dress at dinner at the club flooded my mind. It seems she chose this special night to abandon me for some athlete, I growled in frustration. Dee attempted to console me. Jim, she hasn't left you. She'll return home tomorrow, and there will be more special nights ahead. I retorted, if she hasn't abandoned me, then where is she? She isn't with me now, my voice growing louder. Dee pleaded for calm. Take a deep breath, Jim. Linda knows you're her man. You're a decent fellow, Dee commented smugly. Yes, and we all know where such individuals wind up, I retorted through gritted teeth. This is just tonight, though. Everything returns to normal tomorrow, she asserted. I sneered. So, what part did you play in this? You didn't actually need to go to the restroom. Linda signaled for you to delay me, I charged. Dee admitted it. Yes, she didn't want you to cause a scene. She adores you and will always return to you, she said. I'll remember how much she cherishes me tonight, I mused. She wasn't keen on leaving her husband for a jock, I stated. Haven't you reminded her of her husband and the marriage she's risking, I asked. No, because I know she won't lose you. You're too honorable. She'll do whatever it takes to make amends, Dee replied. What if there's no way to reconcile? I queried. Jim, I understand the depth of your affection for each other. This is just one night compared to all the years you've spent together. It's not a significant matter unless you choose to make it so. You'll be all right, Dee assured me. In a quiet yet forceful tone, I inquired. I restrained myself from seizing Dee and shaking her due to her irrational talk. If Mark had picked you, would you have reacted similarly? I inquired. Yes, I would, she retorted boldly. Do you think Dave is aware? I asked next. No, and there's no need for you to inform him. It's unlikely to occur, she whispered back. Perhaps I should, I suggested. Please don't, Jim. This won't resolve anything. Let's shift focus for a moment and find something else to engage with, she suggested, smiling. I desired to dance with my spouse, but due to you and Mark, that's no longer possible, I mentioned as I returned to our table. The discussion came to an end abruptly. Everyone was aware of my wife being with Mark. Jim, are you all right? Dave inquired. Unable to disclose what Dee stated, I couldn't bring myself to do so. Whether I'm okay depends on your interpretation, I replied curtly. It was a regrettable action, but you won't divorce Linda because of it, correct? Dave asked next. Why not? I responded. A collective sigh echoed. Jim, that's Mark Lavalier, Dee reminded me. I don't care who it is, was my response. If it's not me, it's dishonest, I asserted, anger evident in my tone. What if Dee spent the night with Mark? Would you be fine with that? Dave seemed uncomfortable and cast a glance at Dee, who avoided his eyes. Jim, remember your kids. They need you, Jane interjected. Is my wife considering them at this moment? I countered. That's why you brought in a nanny, Dee quipped, attempting humor but failing. It's only one night. She won't get another chance like this. You wouldn't divorce her over one night, Dee continued. Why not? I questioned, staring at her. A pause ensued. Jim, consider a different viewpoint, Jane advised. What if a Sports Illustrated model wished to spend the night with you? Wouldn't you be tempted? I might be drawn towards it, but I'd decline. I have a wife and wouldn't want to cause her pain, I reaffirmed. Another silence filled the air. I glanced at my erstwhile friends who seemed to be supporting my unfaithful spouse. A bouncer arrived at our table. Is there an issue? He inquired. Yes, a significant one, I responded, tossing a $20 bill on the table. On departing. That takes care of my bill, I said. Departing from the club, I paid for the companion I arrived with. Walking towards the hotel, my initial fury morphed into profound melancholy. Linda was supposed to walk beside me, but now I was on my own. On my own, I rode the elevator, entered our suite, and confronted the debris of our intimate evening. Alone, I pondered an unpredictable future. I flicked on the light, shut the door, and felt surprisingly weary. I discarded my coat onto the floor and navigated towards the bedroom. A god of a chocolate bar graced each pillow, and lingerie I didn't recognize lay sprawled across the bed. My mind painted a picture of Linda, adorning them with tenderness and passion that once belonged only to me until tonight. My wife, my lover, my confidante was stolen from me by another man. He seized her effortlessly, as if she were his due. To him, she was merely a captivating diversion for the evening, and she obliged. I seemed to matter so little to her that she made no protest. After nearly a decade as a faithful spouse, it seemed she regarded him as having more claim to her than me. The plan had been for one night only, yet what would he leave behind in her heart and mind? How could I possibly measure up against the town hero, Mark Lavalier? My tears dried, I wiped my face, gathered our belongings. I discarded the underwear in the bin, settled the hotel bill, and the clerk looked perplexed. "All good with your room, sir?" she asked. "The room was exquisite," I replied. "Is there anything we can do to improve your stay?" she queried. "Erase him from existence and rewind time," I pondered. But aloud I said, "No thanks." "Enjoy the rest of the night, sir," she said. "Oh, really?" I grumbled, climbing into my car and driving home. A maelstrom of emotions swirled within me. Anger and sorrow vied for dominance. The house loomed quiet and vacant. I yearned for a message from Linda, but there was none. Exhausted, still in my clothes, I dozed off. At 2 a.m. Texts from an unknown number buzzed my phone, containing pictures and videos of Linda and Mark enjoying themselves. I assume it was Mark using her phone to send them. Anger rising, I closed my phone forcefully. Divorce was imminent, but Mark would pay for this. I transferred the images and videos onto my computer and emailed them to our friends with the title "Content Now." I packed Linda's belongings into rubbish bags, placed them in her car, and altered the garage code. I demolished all reminders of our marriage, transforming the house into a battleground. I discarded my wedding ring down the toilet, accompanied by urine and feces. Exhausted mentally, I sat for coffee when the morning newspaper arrived at the door. The headlines startled me. "Who is Mark Lavalier's new girlfriend?" Photos of Linda and Mark exiting a club, kissing before she climbed into his Jaguar, were displayed, making my humiliation public. I forwarded the article to our friends with the title, "Damn You All to Oblivion." As it was 5:30 a.m., I phoned Linda's mother, aware she'd be preparing breakfast. "Hello," she said. "Everything all right?" I responded. We had a good relationship, and I usually addressed them as Mom and Dad. "No, Mom," I replied. "Have you read today's newspaper?" she inquired. "Not yet," she said. "Alfred usually reads it with his coffee. You might want to skip the sports section. There's an article about Mark Lavalier that he may dislike." Linda's mother mentioned Alfred admired him highly. "Perhaps not anymore. Linda kept me at the club with him last night, and they were seen entering his car." "Oh my goodness," she exclaimed. "Where is Linda now?" I informed her. "She's still with him," I said. "Did she spend the night with him?" she asked. "Yes. I don't know when or if she'll return, but she needs a place to stay." "Understood. Alfred won't be pleased, and neither am I." "Is there a solution for this predicament?" "There isn't." She walked away from me, departing with him. Our supposed friends concealed her actions. "I apologize, Jim. She can certainly stay here if necessary. What about the children?" "They're at the babysitter's tonight. I may ask my in-laws to look after them for the remainder of the weekend." "Very well. Let me know if you need assistance, Jim." "Thanks, I will." Returning to the computer, I devised another plan. I accessed Linda's Facebook account and posted a link to the article with the caption, "Look at this. I graced the front page of the sports section. went on a date with my uninteresting husband, then spent the night with a real charmer. How fortunate for me. Additionally, I emailed the journalist who wrote the article, detailing the situation and attaching a video of Mark promising to see Linda again. I provided my contact details and sent it off. At 8 a.m., I contacted Mrs. Porter to ask if my parents could collect the children. She consented and inquired, "Did you check the sports section?" To which I replied affirmatively. "Was that genuinely Linda?" she questioned. "Regrettably, yes," I confirmed, asking her not to inform the children just yet. "I comprehend. I'm sorry, Jim. This isn't something you should have to deal with," she empathized. "Thank you," I said, terminating the call. Next, I phoned my mother. "Jim, everything all right?" she asked, her concern audible. "My dad has read the paper," I informed her. "Could you pick up the children from Mrs. Porter's this morning? They should stay with you over the weekend," was my request. "Of course, son. What are your plans?" she inquired. "Unleashing chaos, Mom," I declared. "Consider the kids first, all right? They mean the most to you at present," she cautioned gently. "I understand, Mom. Thanks for reminding me," I acknowledged. Our conversation ended, and I got a cup of coffee. At 9:30, my cell phone rang. It was Dee. "What?" I barked. "Jim, it's Dee. I saw this morning's paper and want to express my apologies." She acknowledged she was unaware of how severe the situation would be. "What did you expect to transpire?" you countered. "My spouse departed with a renowned soccer player. Naturally, people would take notice. It's worse than anticipated," you asserted. "Can you elaborate?" she inquired. "Examine Linda's Facebook profile and your email," you instructed. "I haven't done so yet. I prefer my morning coffee first," she replied. "The evidence is there. I hope you're content," you stated coldly. The call ended before she could respond. Jane then phoned, distressed over the video and images. "Why are you astonished?" you inquired. "I never imagined he would behave this way," she admitted. "Were you expecting him to entertain my wife or share pictures and videos?" you probed. "Both," she responded. "What will you do next?" she wondered. "What do you suppose? It's time for you to depart and cease bothering me," you demanded. I hung up and attempted to drink my coffee, but the phone rang again. I answered it despite not recognizing the number. "Is this Thomas Carlyle?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes, that's me," I replied. Audrey Taney's from the Daily Record called Carlyle. She inquired about a video and email he had sent, asking if the woman with Mark Lavalier last night was his wife. He confirmed it was his soon-to-be ex-wife. He also mentioned additional videos and pictures in his letter. Audrey asked to see them, and they agreed to meet later when his wife returned home first. In the meantime, Carlyle checked Linda's Facebook page, where opinions were divided, with some expressing support while others were critical. Some labeled her as promiscuous, vowing they'd expel her if their spouses behaved similarly. I observed she had fewer Facebook friends and chuckled when Linda arrived past 11. A Jaguar was leaving the house as I saw. "Jim, it's me," she said, removing the key from the lock. "I'm home," she casually declared. "Why is my car parked in the driveway instead of the garage, and what are those objects inside?" Her eyes widened upon seeing me at the table. I was aware I looked unkempt. Her face paled as she surveyed the wrecked house. "Oh my God," she exclaimed. "What have you done? Everything is ruined, our wedding portrait, my vase, our glasses, and what is that odor?" "I completed what you initiated last night," I replied. "Did you rest at all?" she asked. "Why should I concern myself?" I countered. "Observe, I apologize for last night, but I'm here now and I'm still your wife." I shook my head. She attempted to kiss my cheek, but I deterred her. "Don't approach me," I said. She appeared taken aback. "No, you're not my wife now. That's confirmed in the newspaper and online, courtesy of Idiot. Look at this magazine spread." Her response was one of shock upon seeing it. "Oh no," she exclaimed. "How did they get these photos? I'm not his girlfriend, contrary to what the papers claim. It doesn't matter. You had your fun, and now we're over." She then requested to use the bathroom before our discussion, which I followed her to. Upon seeing the mess in the toilet, she asked me about a wedding ring she spotted. Yes, I confirmed. But since you ruined our marriage, I made it legally final. I then examined her rings with her hand and asked, "What are you doing?" She inquired about my actions. "What's that?" I pointed to a suspicious stain on her ring. "I don't know," she replied. "Ridiculous," I declared, showing her a video on my phone of Mark smearing it onto her rings. Her complexion paled noticeably. "Besides publicly humiliating me in front of our entire town, you also soiled our wedding rings," I snapped, growing more enraged. I snatched the rings from her hand. "What on earth are you doing?" she wailed as I hurled the rings into the toilet and flushed them away. She let out a blood-curdling scream, her eyes filled with terror. "My rings, how could you? You have to give them back." "No, how could you? I've loved you exclusively for over a decade, and this is my reward? Go to hell." "It was only one night," she retorted. "We have the rest of our lives ahead of us." I presented her with the video of Mark declaring his intention to continue courting her. Was he being truthful? "Do you want to carry on in our bed while I watch?" "Perhaps it came up, but I didn't think he was sincere," she replied. "It was just idle talk." "Similar to this," I countered, showing her the video. She shook her head. "That's not what I meant," she said. "Well, I mean business," I declared. "Leave and inform your paramour that if he dares set foot in this house, I will eliminate him. Leave before I force you out." "But I share this home with you," she replied. "This is no longer our home. I'm filing for divorce. Your belongings are in the car, and your mother is waiting for you. You're dead to me. I don't want you here again. Now leave." "What about the kids?" she asked. "The children? When you left with him, you didn't consider us. Why do you bring them up now?" "I didn't abandon them or you," she retorted. "And stop referring to him that way. Go away from me. You disgust me. Wait, you already managed that when he did. He knew we were married, but he didn't care. Now you defend him. Go out of my sight. You make me sick." She recoiled, tears streaming down her face. "Leave." She stormed down the stairs, crying. I pursued, snatched her purse, removed her house key, and flung it at her. "Don't do this," she pleaded. "I love you." "I despise you." "Now leave," was my reply, trembling and weeping. She exited and drove off, wiping tears from her face. Tired, I slumped on the couch and drifted asleep. Awake in the afternoon, I bathed, then called Audrey. "Audrey, this is Jim Carlyle." "Good day, Mr. Carlyle," she replied. "Is it still possible to meet today?" "Of course," she said. "Where would you prefer to meet?" "How about Sherry's near the mall? It's peaceful," she suggested. "Sounds good. I'll see you there," she said. I phoned my mom to check on the kids, who were engrossed in Frozen but took a break to chat. "Where's Grandma?" Emma asked. "She's staying with her mother for now," I explained. "Why doesn't she live here with us?" she queried. "We are addressing some problems. You'll see her again soon. I have to meet someone, but I will call you later, all right?" "All right, Daddy," she responded. "Bye." My heart ached. Linda and Mark had not only damaged my marriage, but also negatively impacted the lives of my children. I headed towards Sherry's, where I was escorted to a secluded table. A young brunette with a laptop approached me. "Mr. Carlyle," she said, "nice to make your acquaintance." "Please call me Jim," I responded. "I apologize," she stated. "For what?" I asked. "Those photographs in today's newspaper are mine," she admitted. "Did you take them?" you inquired. "Indeed, I did. I was at the club with friends and spotted Mark Lavalier. I observed him dancing with your spouse, not aware of her marital status. I approached them outside and decided to record more footage, which I have here." She offered, presenting a tablet. "Sure," you consented, receiving the tablet and pressing play. The video displayed Linda and Mark in the parking lot, exhibiting affection reminiscent of yours. Upon completion, the tablet was returned. "I'm truly sorry for what transpired," she apologized. "I sent certain details to the newspaper and then returned to the club, finding you absent. Care to share your account? You nodded, recounting the evening events before handing her your phone with headphones. You should watch this video, you suggested. I'm an adult, she responded, putting on the headphones as you ate, observing her expression alter during the playback. Upon conclusion, the phone was handed back. Well, you inquired. This supports the gossip I've heard. He's often labeled as a womanizer, but it's challenging to verify, she commented. What's your plan? I'm filing for divorce. She was aware of my stance on faithfulness, yet indifferent. Our relationship is terminated now. Do you have children? She inquired. Yes, I do. A son and a daughter, aged 6 and 4, I replied. It's always the hardest on the kids, she said. Indeed, was my response. What about Mark? She asked. I haven't decided yet. A part of me wishes to confront him, but I don't want legal troubles. He's a renowned soccer player. Frankly, I doubt you'd succeed, she said. I chuckled. Others have underestimated my capabilities before. Size isn't everything. What does that signify? She inquired. My father used to say it's not the size of the dog fighting, but the size of the fight within the dog, I explained. So, you intend to stir up trouble? She asked. No, I have 2 children to consider, but I won't simply submit, I said. Have you consulted a lawyer? She asked. I haven't had the chance. This all transpired last night, I replied. She gave me a business card. A friend of mine is a family law attorney. She dislikes dishonest individuals and has no fondness for Lavalier. If you wish, I will contact her. Reading the card, it said, Lisa Hawkins, attorney at law. Okay, thanks. But why are you being so helpful? That's a valid query. I sense an intriguing narrative in your situation and want to share it. Moreover, I enjoy seeing people like Lavalier receive their due. Therefore, there's a personal angle, I asked. To some extent, she conceded. What do you require from me? I inquired. An arrangement, perhaps. Something similar to that. It implies allowing you to present my perspective and managing the information flow, she clarified. Including me? I asked. Yes, Lisa and I, she confirmed. And what's in it for me? A defense against individuals like us. Lavalier's team will attempt to portray you negatively. You require someone skilled in dealing with sharks, she explained. What's the plan? I asked. Have you contemplated taking legal action against Lavalier? She questioned. Yes, I have, I answered. Allow me to review their actions. You suggested publishing a preemptive legal notice in tomorrow's edition. I contemplated your proposal. Given the imminent public disclosure of Linda's identity, it seemed prudent to act promptly. I agree, I responded, with a caveat that we collaborate and I retain final approval to prevent any potential harm to our children. She concurred. I'll initiate contact and get started on this matter. By the way, local media plans to air this story tonight. They've already reached out to me. What did you share with them? I inquired. I haven't revealed any details yet. I wanted our discussion first, she replied. Thank you, I said. We concluded our meal and bid farewell. I was uncertain if my actions were justified. I decided to visit my parents' house to discuss the situation further. Upon checking my phone, there were no messages or calls from Linda. Upon arriving, my children greeted me eagerly, and I embraced them warmly. Where is Mom? Emma inquired. She's with her family, I said. Why? Emma questioned. I mentioned having some tasks to handle, choosing to keep details private. My parents joined us, and we took our seats. Are you all right, son? My father inquired. Not particularly well, Dad, I responded. I'm improving from before, but it's still challenging. I comprehend, he said. The television broadcasted the news, overruling the children's objections. And now, moving on to our Town Talk segment, the anchor announced. This morning, the Daily Record reported that famous soccer player Mark Lavalier was seen exiting a nightclub with a new companion. A video captures them leaving the club and getting into his vehicle. Linda and Mark were visibly holding hands and kissing in the footage. Mommy, why is that man kissing you? Emma questioned. Just watch the news, I responded to her. Timmy didn't fully grasp the situation but seemed distressed. The anchor continued with a report. We reached out to Audrey Tanneys, the journalist who uncovered the story. She stated that the woman is married, but her husband did not consent to the disclosure of her identity. We contacted Lavalier and Shark's representatives, but didn't receive a response. Potential updates might emerge as soon as the next day. Dad switched off the TV, while Mom led the children into another room. Dad turned to me, inquiring, "What are your plans, son?" I disclosed. "I'm filing for divorce, Dad." He acknowledged my decision. I understand why. With this development, it's likely she'll get custody of the kids and you'd lose financially. However, I can't imagine you staying with her after this incident. By the way, I spoke to the journalist who broke the story. "Anything interesting?" he asked. "Indeed, she offered assistance. The upcoming days are likely going to be difficult. This is only the start." Mom returned, suggesting, "The children can remain here for as long as necessary, away from reporters." "You're right," Dad agreed. "They can stay here until they need to leave." "Thanks. I'll gather more of their belongings tomorrow. Please inform me if you require anything else." "Linda will want to see them," Mom added. "Technically, we can't prevent her action without a court order. This situation is bizarre. I wonder why she did it, considering the repercussions. It's hard to speculate," my father admitted. "You take necessary actions, we'll offer assistance where possible. Just avoid reckless choices." I appreciated your advice, Dad, and we embraced. Emma approached me with wet eyes, inquiring about a divorce. I couldn't deceive her. "Guess so, sweetheart. But remember, our affection for you remains strong." She cried on my shoulder as I comforted her. "Blast you, Linda," I fumed silently. After spending time with the children, I stated I had to leave and tidy up the house. Mom offered me a dish of lasagna. "Take this with you, you need energy." "Thanks, Mom, her lasagna is unmatched." We bid our farewells, and I returned home. Upon arrival, I refrigerated the lasagna and checked Linda's Facebook account. The post was still live and attracted over 500,000 views, mostly negative comments. She had lost approximately 3/4 of her acquaintances. I smiled and closed the computer. I had just finished tidying up when the doorbell chimed. "Oh no," I thought. I peered through the peephole. It was Dee and Dave. "What on earth do they want?" I grumbled, opening the door slightly. "What's your business here?" I snapped. They both recoiled. "Can we discuss something with you, Jim?" asked Dee. "Why?" I queried. "Because we care about you and are concerned," she replied. I scoffed. "Care? With friends like you, who needs foes?" "Kindly allow us in for a brief chat, Jim," Dee implored. Pondering for a moment, I conceded. They seemed taken aback by the disarray and missing items. "Well then, what's your objective?" I asked, pouring myself coffee without offering them any. "Jim, we wish to express our regret about last night," Dee explained. "We watched the video and read the article. You weren't expecting it to be this severe, and we apologize. However, you were aware, weren't you, that she was married before pushing her onto him?" "Yes, that's correct. Both Linda and you were aware, yet no one seemed to care. As you said, she was with him for your sake. The conversation about one and done doesn't hold any weight now, does it? Linda is in a distraught state now, shedding tears on her mother's bed, and we fear she might be having a breakdown. Dee explained this to you while you tossed a thick dictionary onto the coffee table, causing them both to jump. You seek sympathy, yet you can find it between crap and syphilis in the dictionary. Dave acknowledged that this situation has deeply affected you. "You don't understand," I said, indicating my fingers were just a hair's breadth away from being fully extended, implying I was on the verge of losing control. If I had a weapon, I might have acted already. It's crucial to consider the children, unlike what you or Linda did last night. Dee asked if I had discarded my rings and declared her dead to me in response. I gave a nod. "She was the one who destroyed our marriage, and I completed her actions," I stated. "What will be your next move?" Dave inquired. "There's no other option. I must file for divorce. This article has blown up. Everyone recognizes it's her. I need to divorce that wretched woman, I said. And you'll also be implicated, I told Dee. Why me? She asked. Because you played a part in dismantling our family. You could have stopped her, but you didn't, I replied. Have you informed your husband about what you told me? Dave glanced at her. What did you tell him? He asked. She looked down, flushed. He turned to me. What did she say? She stated that if Mark had approached her instead of Linda, she would have acted the same way, I said angrily. He turned back to her. Is that correct? He asked at home. I requested you not to tell him, Dee said to me angrily. Your husband deserves to know the kind of woman he's married to, I retorted. So, is that it? She inquired. Yes, I confirmed. They decided to depart, but Dee pleaded one more time for Linda. I acknowledge if you choose not to be friends, yet can't you pardon Linda once? She genuinely cares for you, she expressed. Are you that gullible, Dee? No, I cannot forgive her and never will. She hurt me, and you aided in it. I can no longer view you the same way again, she sighed regretfully. All right, I apologize. I remained silent. Steve extended his hand, then retracted it. I apologize as well, we all do. I suppose I'll catch up with you later. I hummed in response, unwilling to speak. I observed them depart, Dee wiping her eyes. I locked the door and headed to the kitchen for supper, then settled on the bed and drifted off to sleep. The following day I arose, completed my daily routine, and fetched a newspaper from the porch. After cereal and toast, I perused the sports section. Cheating spouse ponders lawsuit against football player Mark Lavalier, the headline declared. This should be interesting, I mused. Audrey accurately summarized the information I shared with her, maintaining my anonymity. A man, claiming to be his wife's husband, presented a video suggesting a relationship between his spouse and Lavalier, as stated in the article. He alleged that her friends assisted her in fleeing with Lavalier. However, efforts to reach them have been fruitless. Lavalier's contract includes a moral conduct clause, and breaching it could lead to legal action. Neither team management nor Lavalier have responded. Satisfied, I put down the newspaper and took a sip of my coffee. Audrey messaged me, I hope you read the paper this morning. I replied, great article, to which she responded, thanks, adding, expect a call very soon. Moments later, my phone rang with an unknown number. Upon answering, I identified myself as Jim Carlisle. This is Lisa Hawkins, she introduced herself, explaining that Audrey Tannies had given her my contact details. There are no good times these days, I said in response to her greeting. I'm pleased you reached out, Lisa. What might I assist you with? I said. Actually, what you can do for me, she corrected. Please just call me Lisa. Very well, Lisa. You may address me as Jim, I replied. Thank you, Jim. Audrey filled me in about you, and now I'm reaching out after your article was read, she explained. I assume you've perused it, she asked. Indeed, and she did a commendable job, I responded. In agreement. Lisa, I'd be honored if you would represent me if that suits you. Are you considering legal action against Lavalier and their team, aside from the divorce proceedings with your spouse? She inquired. Indeed, I am, I confirmed. Fortuitously, infidelity is a valid ground for divorce here, and suits for alienation of affection are permissible. Your case appears strong. Do you have children? She asked. Yes, a son and a daughter, I replied. Do you intend to seek custody? She continued. Without a doubt, I stated decisively. While the process may be complex, we can request it. Shall we commence your case today? Can you meet at your office tomorrow at 8 o'clock? She suggested. Yes, I can. Inquired about the fee, to which she replied, typically there is a fee, but I'm prepared to do it without charge. Curious, I asked, why? She responded cryptically, I'll explain sometime, not now. Satisfied with her response, I agreed. As a final note, she advised, following this morning's article, you'll likely hear from the Sharks' legal team. Don't submit. Simply inform them they can anticipate a call from your attorney. I confirmed my understanding. With a parting warning, she said, be careful, to which I responded, I will, I promise. We bid farewell. I changed into fresh jeans and a shirt before hearing knocks on the door. Peeking through the peephole, I saw two well-dressed gentlemen. Assuming they were from the Sharks, as Lisa had warned, I opened the door and asked, "What brings you here?" Roger appeared to be a lawyer. I welcomed them inside. "Please, come in. Would you like something to drink?" Jack declined. "We're here about your issue with Mark Lavalier," he stated. "Graduation?" I inquired. "You mean he destroyed my marriage and family?" Jack confirmed, seeming puzzled. He then addressed Roger. "Present the proposal." Roger gave me an envelope and a folder. I opened the envelope, finding myself taken aback. "Everything okay, Mr. Carlyle?" asked Jack. "Are you joking?" I exclaimed. "Is there a problem, Mr. Carlyle?" questioned Roger. $1,000? You're giving me $1,000 for what he did to my family. That's an insult. "Hold on, Mr. Carlyle," Jack interjected. "It also includes lifetime season passes and items from our store. It costs a lot of money." I nearly chuckled. "And in exchange for what?" I asked. Roger unveiled an unsigned document in the folder. "We ask that you refrain from filing a lawsuit against the team or Mr. Lavalier," he explained. I examined the document with disbelief. "Yet you plan to take no action against Lavalier? But there's a morality clause in his contract," I questioned. Roger merely shrugged. Jack said, "Boys will be boys. Lavalier is a well-regarded team member and esteemed community figure. We simply ask you to reconsider pressing charges. We wish to preserve everyone's reputation." "Lavalier destroyed my marriage and my own reputation," I retorted. "There are already newspaper articles and photographs of him with my wife. What about my children? How will you compensate them for their shattered family? Do you believe that season tickets and fashionable clothing can make up for that?" "What should we do?" Jack asked, sounding patronizing. "Perhaps provide entertainment for my wife or rewind time to Thursday and prevent him from meeting her," I replied sarcastically. "Alternatively, engage in a live soccer match. I'd pay to see that." Both men appeared shocked. "We can't carry out any of those actions, sir," they said. Roger said, "Carlyle, perhaps you'd like to propose another deal. You will listen to my lawyer. This meeting is concluded. Please depart." They looked at each other, then rose. Jack extended his hand, but you didn't accept it. They nodded and exited. I called Lisa afterward to inform her about the situation, then went to spend time with my children at my parents' place. Emma was still stunned by witnessing Linda kiss another man. After discussing it with my parents, I took the kids to Chuck E. Cheese's, then prepared their belongings for their grandparents' home. As we were packing, the front door swung open and Mark stormed in, furious. "You idiotic wretch," he bellowed. "I'm going to inflict pain for everything you've done. All I desired was a simple apology, but you turned it into a grand scandal." I attempted to speak, but he struck me. After the spots vanished from my sight, I seized the iron skillet from the stove. He tumbled to the floor, and I discarded the skillet. "Surrender the skillet, sir," a law enforcement official instructed. I complied and spun around upon hearing it collide with the ground. "Remain stationary, keep your hands at the back of your head." I complied and was fastened with handcuffs. The officer hoisted me to my feet. "Officer, he broke into my residence," I stated. "I'm aware," he replied. "Your neighbor witnessed him forcing open the door and alerted emergency services." "Are you all right?" I inquired about my condition. "My facial area is tortuous," I answered. "You'll likely sport a contusion," he said. He examined Emma, who was unscathed but rattled. He communicated over the radio and returned to me. "May I contact my parents to retrieve the children?" I inquired. "Do you possess any weapons?" he asked. "No, that's why I grabbed the skillet," I explained. "Understood," he said, removing the handcuffs from me. "However, I need your account of events." "Am I under arrest?" "I doubt it. You were safeguarding your children, unless otherwise informed, no, but I will apprehend him." I phoned my parents, and my father confirmed his arrival promptly. An ambulance arrived, and paramedics examined Emma and me before attending to Mark, who was unconscious on the floor. They transported him away on a stretcher, and my father appeared. "What happened?" he inquired. "We had an uninvited guest," I replied. He surveyed my countenance. "This is going to be quite a mess for a while," he remarked. He comforted Emma. "It's all right, dear. The man has left." He scanned the area. "Where's Timmy?" Timmy was concealed under the table. "It's fine now, son. You can emerge." Timmy crawled out and approached us. My father faced the police officer. "May we depart?" he asked. The officer consented. "Yes, that's acceptable. I'll require a conversation with your child, but you aren't required to stay." "Thank you," my dad said. He rounded up the children and their belongings, then turned to me. "Return when they're finished, all right?" "I will, Daddy." "Thank you," I said. I embraced and kissed the kids farewell, assuring them I'd see them soon. The policeman and I sat on the couch as he gathered my statement. Amazed at how swiftly events unfolded, I murmured a silent thank you to my neighbor for calling the police in time. The officer spoke. "It's fortunate you weren't far." Indeed, I was merely a few blocks distant. Over the past days, I had been closely tracking the Lavalier case. "Was that your wife he was spotted with?" I nodded in affirmation. The officer expressed his sympathies and offered me a card bearing a counselor's name and number for future reference. Grateful, I thanked him before he departed following our handshake. In the living room now, my damaged front door stood as a testament to the chaos that had ensued. My neighbor, Fred, approached, asking, "Are you all right, Jim?" I assured him I was, owing to his timely police call. Apparently, he had forced entry while I was out tending to the lawnmower. "What transpired with him?" I inquired. "He bashed his clock with a frying pan," I replied, which caused Fred to chuckle. "Let this serve as a lesson never to provoke you." "Why did he break down the door? Was it not locked?" "No, just the security screen. He was too enraged to even try the handle. With your assistance, Fred, we successfully closed and bolted the door due to its damaged jamb. Fortunately, the deadbolt wasn't engaged, allowing us to utilize it." "All set," you mentioned. "I promise to inform you once a replacement is available and you can assist with installation." "Thanks again," I replied. I placed 2 calls, one to Lisa and one to Audrey. Lisa was relieved that the frying pan incident had ended and I wasn't in jail. She found it amusing that Lavalier would be hospitalized and potentially arrested. Audrey informed me she had heard about it on the police scanner and had already spoken to a police reporter. "I can no longer keep your identity hidden," she said, "as it will be included in the police report." "I understand," I responded. We continued our conversation, and she advised me to stay informed. "This incident will certainly create a buzz," she said. After our call, I ascended to shower once more. Gazing at my swollen eye in the mirror, I phoned work and shared my predicament, seeking a few days off. "Looks like you had quite the weekend. Take a week to straighten things out," my boss responded. "Thanks," I replied. Post our call, I visited my parents and children, where Linda unexpectedly showed up. "Goodness gracious, are you all right?" she asked upon sighting me. "A bit late for concern about my health," I retorted sarcastically. "Want to know what transpired? Your paramour played a role." "Did you injure him?" she inquired. "Spare me the question. I hope you didn't harm him." "I can hardly fathom it. He's hospitalized and his state doesn't concern me. He's in police custody. So, why are you here?" "To see my children. I miss them," she said. "You mean since the night you abandoned us for him?" I questioned gruffly. 36 hours have passed, and you're already contemplating them." "Don't refer to him like that," she protested. "He wrecked our marriage, Linda, and without a moment's hesitation for me or the kids, you aided him." I spat angrily. "He destroyed our family. That makes him the epitome of foolishness. Defending him is unacceptable." I entered the house, and she followed suit. All eyes were on us. The children clung to their grandmother, now in full protective guardian mode. "What do you want?" Linda growled. "I want to see my children," Linda declared. Timmy appeared terrified, holding on to my mother more tightly. Emma looked at my mother with disgust. "Why did you kiss that man, Mommy?" she asked. "Which man?" Linda questioned. That man, Emma replied, pointing at the TV. Lavalier's face was on the screen. Breaking news, the anchor announced. Shark's tight end Mark Lavalier confronts multiple charges for allegedly kicking down a woman's door and physically assaulting her husband. The husband protected his home with a cast iron skillet. Mark Lavalier has been hospitalized with a severe head wound and other injuries. Charges are imminent as he recovers. The management of Shark has temporarily suspended him while the investigation unfolds. At a microphone, Roger and Jack reported, "We're sorry to inform you that Mark Lavalier is in the hospital due to a head injury and multiple wounds." They extended their apologies to the family they allegedly assaulted, having already contacted the husband with a reasonable offer, which was rejected. The reporters asked for a response regarding the charges, and Jack replied, "The charges include terroristic breaking and entering, assault, and battery." Roger added that they have no comment at this time. Lavalier remains unconscious, so his perspective is unknown. "That concludes our report," they finished. The anchor returned to share, "This just in, stay updated with eyewitness news for further developments." Linda was next, expressing shock. "Oh my God, he's unconscious." "What's your reason for attacking him, Jim?" I replied, expressing worry for my partner. "I struck him multiple times." Linda moved towards Emma but stepped back. My mother intervened. "Aren't you causing enough trouble already?" she inquired. "For the sake of our family, depart now, Linda," my father instructed. "And you are no longer welcome here again," my mother declared. With tears streaming down her face, Linda looked at everyone, finding no comfort. She departed, crying loudly. It was a single night. Following her exit, I embraced the children until they settled down. I bid them good night and left. Upon returning home, I entered through the garage as the front door was damaged. My phone rang with a call from LV, a close family friend and former lawyer. "Hello, LV," I said. "Hey there." I saw the report and identified Linda. "How are you and the kids?" "We're not doing well," I replied. "Did you truly strike Lavier with a frying pan?" he asked. "Yes," I answered. He chuckled. "Well done. Are you planning to divorce Linda?" "Yes," I confirmed, detailing the video Lavier shared. The situation becomes more complex. "Have you spoken with a lawyer?" I responded, saying I have an appointment with Lisa Hawkins tomorrow. "The Ice Queen herself," he remarked. "You mean Lisa Hawkins?" I inquired. "Yes, she's known for her icy demeanor in court. If you require extreme measures, she's the one. However, she comes at a high cost. Can you afford her?" I replied, stating that she will be taking my case for free. "Really? Any idea why?" he questioned. "None," I responded. He suggested I find out. We continued our conversation, and he offered his assistance. "Thank you," I said, ending the call. I had dinner, collected the documents Lisa needed, and went to bed. The following morning, en route to Lisa's office, my phone rang. It was Linda's mother. "Jim, you need to go to the hospital," she said urgently. "Why is that?" I asked. "Linda attempted suicide last night, taking sleeping pills and alcohol. They emptied her stomach, but she remains in danger." "So she tried to end her life," I said with a cold tone. "I have an emergency now," Linda's mother added. "Perhaps I'll visit later following my meeting." "Jim, remember your wife is still your spouse and the mother of your kids," she stated. "Doesn't her condition at the hospital stir any feelings in you?" I inquired. "What do you suppose led to her being there? Do you believe she considered our children or you when she left with that man? I have a scheduled meeting with my lawyer. I'll drop by afterward." "Please, Jim, she's heartbroken," she pleaded. "It's entirely her fault," I said. "How can you be so indifferent?" she questioned. "Linda cares for you and the children." "I understand her affection," I retorted sarcastically. "I should go. I'll get back to you later." She provided me with her room number, and we ended the call. I proceeded to the downtown parking lot and navigated to Lisa's office. A young brunette receptionist welcomed me and indicated a chair in the waiting area. Shortly, a petite blonde woman in a pantsuit emerged and introduced herself. "I am Lisa Hawkins," she said with a grin. "Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Jim." Similarly, I must admit that it would have been preferable under different conditions. Indeed, let us proceed. Have you brought the details I requested? Affirmatively, I responded, presenting her with a folder containing our financial records and a USB drive containing videos sent by Lavalier. She scrutinized everything, making appropriate notations. Here's our strategy, she continued. We will initiate divorce proceedings, citing infidelity as the cause. In our jurisdiction, infidelity can serve to avoid alimony payments. Given your similar incomes, the state typically divides assets equally. However, we might secure a larger share. We shall also request physical custody, although courts often favor mothers unless they are deemed unfit. You mentioned that she attempted self-liquidation last night. Lisa's eyes gleamed. That's intriguing, she said. This could be leveraged to argue her mental instability, making her unsuitable for child care. Additionally, her lover assaulted your family, a fact we can use in our favor. We require a restraining order for her and Lavalier, despite him being in the hospital with charges pending. You asked if this was still appropriate. She replied that it's even more crucial due to his current situation. She considers him dangerous. Do you possess any weapon? No, I explained, using a frying pan instead. She chuckled. Remember never to provoke me in the kitchen, she said. Where are your children currently located? At my parents' house, I responded. She mentioned incorporating the kids into the restraining order, pulling out additional paperwork. She's initiated a lawsuit against Lavalier and his team, citing alienation of affection as grounds. Although such cases seldom succeed, she feels our case is strong with the available videos and evidence of his assault. She suggested requesting $12.5 million from Lavalier, who has an estimated net worth of $125 million. She also proposed expanding it into a class action suit if other victims can be found. What are your thoughts? You're the attorney. Do what you think is best, I replied. She agreed it wouldn't be simple, but we could attempt it. The team's response to the charges will significantly impact our efforts. It's a tough fight ahead. I understood her words. The divorce process can be swift, she continued. Infidelity is considered a minor offense in this jurisdiction, which we can utilize to our advantage. If she doesn't contest, it could be concluded within 3 to 6 months. Protracted litigation will require more time, but I believe we'll emerge victorious. Do you have any questions? Yes, just one, I replied. Why are you offering your services for free in this case? Lavalier isn't only the one who has caused harm, she responded. He deceived my fiancée years ago before he rose to fame. What? I exclaimed. Really? She nodded. I apologize for your loss. Were they together in a romantic sense? She shook her head. No, not at all, but it seems my former fiancé was. I remained perplexed. She smiled and clarified. We got engaged following the 2015 Obergefell decision that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. He enticed her just as your wife did. I ended the engagement and sought revenge, but I never had the opportunity until now. Most of his victims conceal their pain after being betrayed. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. Are you both still in contact? Not extremely close, but friends nonetheless. We've moved forward separately. She appears serious. Does my lifestyle concern you? No, not at all. It made her smile. Good to hear that. Are you and Audrey Tanny's romantically involved? You laugh. Just good friends, nothing more. Nothing romantic between us, but I wouldn't mind spending more time with her. Do you think about sleeping with her? Not at all. My focus is elsewhere. My children are my priority now. That's how it should be. They need their father right now. The divorce papers will be ready in a day or two. If your wife remains hospitalized, we can serve the documents there. I would like to attend her funeral if possible. It seems that can be arranged. Our meeting concluded thereafter. I will reach out when needed. I took caution as I departed her office en route to the hospital to check on Linda. Upon arrival, I parked and entered, spotting her mother conversing with a doctor in her room. Linda was connected to various tubes and a ventilator, visibly deteriorated. Her mother greeted me. It's great you made it. She's under close watch for self-harm risks, and they're conducting tests due to concerns about potential brain damage from prolonged unconsciousness. She nearly succumbed. I inquired, "What transpired?" To which she replied, "After seeing you and the children, she wept upstairs. Assuming she was fine, I gave her a nightcap to calm her nerves. Upon waking, I discovered an empty vial of sleeping pills and an empty glass. Her complexion was cyanotic. I dialed emergency services, and they transported her here, emptied her stomach, and administered an antidote for the pills. Once stable, she'll consult a psychologist and potentially remain in the psychiatric ward." "How long will she be hospitalized?" She replied, "A few days." I reached out to her workplace and secured sick leave for her. "Will you deliver the divorce documents to her today?" "Affirmative. It's unfortunate, but necessary. Heavy burden," I replied, noticing her surprise. "Jim Carlyle, how can you be so heartless and ruthless?" I returned her gaze. "I must be hard-hearted and unyielding when required." She understood the risks of her actions when she departed, yet chose to ignore them. Now she'll face the repercussions. A tear traced its way down Linda's cheek. I shook my head and exited the room. At home, I concentrated on repairing the door. I accessed the internet, ordered a new door and locks, and Fred consented to aid me in installation once they arrived. The ensuing days followed a predictable pattern. I accomplished chores and spent time with my offspring. My parents assisted with school and childcare errands. It was challenging explaining to the children that their mother wouldn't be present as frequently. Emma remained fearful of adults, particularly men, and I devoted additional attention to her. Blame Linda for this predicament. The day for serving Linda divorce papers finally arrived. I received a call from Lisa informing me about the bailiff's arrival time, instructing me to remain silent until the documents were delivered. I provided her with the room number and proceeded to the hospital. Upon reaching the entrance, I encountered Linda's mother weeping, who pleaded, "Don't do this to her, not like this." Entering the room, I found the bailiff and a tearful Linda inside. He addressed her, "Linda Carlyle," to which she responded softly. He then handed over a manila envelope, stating, "You've been served a summons. Among the divorce papers, there is also a restraining order against you and Mr. Lavalier. Both of you must maintain a distance of at least 500 feet from your husband, children, his residence, and his parents' residence. This includes his workplace. Failure to abide by this will result in arrest and imprisonment. Do you understand?" She nodded and turned towards me. "May we overlook this incident?" she inquired. "It was merely a single evening." "One night is still too many, Linda," I responded. "Emma hasn't fully healed from your partner's actions. This situation could have been avoided if you hadn't acted as you did. Sign the documents, Linda." "But I don't desire a divorce," she said. "What if I opt to contest it?" "Then I will file charges for infidelity," I said. "Infidelity?" she questioned. "Yes, infidelity is considered a misdemeanor in this state. No one has been prosecuted for it yet, but there's always a first time. Sign the papers and move on. We're requesting half of what's in the bank. I'm asking for custody since you're unable to care for yourself. Once the doctor clears you, you can visit the children if they wish to see you. Currently, they don't. We're seeking minimal child support. You receive your share. I retain the house. I'm being fair." "Is it possible for me to view them before I sign?" she asked. "Certainly," I replied. She perused the documents, tears cascading down her face. In a short while, she sighed and sought a pen. The process server provided one, and she signed the documents. He also signed as a witness and passed them to her. "I'll deliver them to Miss Hawkins," he mentioned. "Have a good day." Leaving, Linda gazed at me, tears streaming down her face. "Is there any way we can erase this?" she implored. "I didn't intend to harm you. It just transpired." "You intended to hurt me," I retorted. "You rushed off with him without even glancing at me. I can never forget your actions." She sobbed harder. "I'm sorry, Jim. Will you ever pardon me?" I shook my head. "Perhaps in a few years, but not now. I will forever remember what you did." "I am truly sorry," she lamented. Normally, I would have consoled her, but I felt nothing. She was like a foreigner to me. "Is that so?" I murmured softly. "I do too." I then departed the room and left her life. The ensuing months were difficult for us both. The children and I gradually adapted to living without Linda, establishing a new rhythm. Mastering tasks that she used to handle proved difficult, but with my mother's assistance, I persevered. Over time, the kids felt less of a void for their mom. Emma sought counseling, which proved beneficial. On 2 more occasions, Linda attempted suicide and was saved each time by her mother. Following the third attempt, she was declared incompetent and transferred to a state-run psychiatric facility. Currently, she spends most days eating, sleeping, and daydreaming in her room, almost catatonic. I severed ties with our former group of friends. Dee reacted angrily upon receiving legal documents, but I did not anticipate any financial compensation from her. My intention was to make her aware of how her indifference contributed to the deterioration of our lives. I met Dave again several months later, and he informed me that they were divorcing because Dee had attempted similar actions as Linda. "Now I understand your ordeal," he stated. "I apologize for this unfortunate turn of events, but despite not receiving all that was hoped for, sufficient funds were acquired to cover both children's college expenses and more, as well as securing lifetime season tickets." Lavalier was dismissed and given an 8 to 15-year prison sentence for his wrongdoings. 2 lawsuits were filed against him, with over 50 men asserting he had destroyed their marriages. Lisa coordinated a class action lawsuit, which the judge approved. Lisa assured me that Lavalier would become financially destitute. I also sued him for causing mental distress and damages from his assault. We obtained $1.5 million in compensation. Although unasked, I granted Lisa a portion for her efforts. In July, I sold the house due to its haunting memories and relocated to a comfortable 3-bedroom apartment with enhanced security. I prioritized the children's needs. Audrey introduced me to her friend April, and we spent several months together, but I remained vigilant after Linda's deception. In December, Linda's physician inquired if I could take the children to see her during Christmas, expressing hope that it might alleviate her depression. Following a conversation with Linda's mother and the kids, we decided to visit. On Christmas Eve, we went to the psychiatric hospital. The kids were anxious initially, but eventually approached Linda, who appeared distraught. She brightened upon seeing them and managed a faint smile. "Thank you for bringing them," she murmured. By then, most of my anger had transformed into sadness. The doctor and I observed as she interacted with the children. "Could you share your perspective, Mr. Carlyle?" the doctor inquired. "Perhaps it could provide insight," he added. I divulged everything, and he listened attentively. "Have you considered reconciliation?" he questioned. "No," I replied. Her actions were deliberate. This time she acknowledged her mistakes and moved on. "Why not aid her?" he suggested. "She yearns for her family's affection." "She made her decision," I stated. "You seem to harbor lingering resentment," he noted. "Wouldn't you feel anger if your spouse departed without a farewell?" I inquired. "Yes," he acknowledged. "How long will she stay?" I asked. "It's difficult to predict," he replied. "She needs to demonstrate self-reliance and safety for herself and others. It could be years," I understood as we observed Linda with the kids. Eventually, the doctor approached her. "Linda, it's time for your medication," he said. The children needed to leave. She nodded, bid the kids farewell, and looked at me sadly. "Thank you, Jim," she said. "I wish I could see them more often. I am improving," she added. "Indeed, Linda, I can see it," I replied. "You appear well," she remarked. "Am I dating anyone?" I answered. "I occasionally date, but nothing serious," I said. She expressed her missed affection and love. I replied, "I miss the wife I wed." She reciprocated with a Merry Christmas wish. The old Linda was momentarily visible in her smile. In response, she wished me a Merry Christmas again and thanked me. I responded with "You're welcome." The kids then asked if they could see her the following week. "We'll arrange something," I said. This became a bi-monthly routine, with Linda's mother sometimes picking up the children or me doing so. We seldom discussed the past, but our brief interactions seemed to bring her some comfort. A year later, on February 29th, the first COVID-19 end-of-life case was reported. The ensuing March saw stay-at-home orders and hardships. As the second anniversary of Linda's departure drew near, things showed a slight improvement. In June 2020, Lavalier's team resolved a class action lawsuit. Lisa was correct. Lavalier ultimately became bankrupt. We didn't gain much, but learning he lost everything was fulfilling. Even Linda couldn't suppress a smile at that. Here's hoping February next year won't be as challenging as the preceding ones.